Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder. Today we're diving into a Form 8K filing from i-80 Gold Corp, and let me tell you, it's more exciting than finding a gold nugget in your backyard, although maybe not quite as valuable. It involves debt, stock sales, and mine assessments, so let's see what's really going on under the surface. This report is dated February 28, 2025. It's basically a snapshot in time, telling us about some significant changes and announcements from i-80 Gold. First up, let's talk about a major agreement, which is a formal or official decision with some changes to their existing debt. i-80 Gold had some convertible debentures, basically a type of loan that can turn into stock, and they've made some pretty big changes to the terms. To give a little background, back in February of 2023, i-80 Gold issued $65 million in these debentures. They had an interest rate of 8% and were set to mature in February 2027. Now, one key change involves how the interest on these debentures can be converted into common shares, which are shares or certificates representing ownership of the company. Initially, the conversion price was fixed, but the new agreement changes that. Now, the price will be based on the average price of i-80 Gold's stock on the Toronto Stock Exchange over the 5 days before the debenture holders decide to convert, minus a 15% discount when converted to US dollars. This also affects the company's option to convert interest payments into shares, also at a 15% discount to market price. Another amendment affects the security backing these debentures. Originally, i-80 Gold could have granted the same level of security to other debts against their McCoy Cove project. Now, the debenture holders will be the senior secured parties on that project, meaning their debt gets paid first. Any additional debt would be lower in priority or subordinated. Think of it like being first in line at a buffet versus everyone else. Finally, there's a new option for i-80 Gold to redeem, meaning buy back, the debentures for cash. They can choose to do this by paying a premium of 104% of the outstanding principal, plus any interest that's owed up to that date. This gives i-80 Gold more flexibility as they work on their plan to reorganize its debts and capital, which is money. This section just points back to the previous one, emphasizing that these changes to the debentures create a direct financial obligation for the company. Moving on, i-80 Gold sold almost 1 million shares of its stock, 997,871 to be exact, at a price of $0.80 per share. These shares were bought by some of the company's directors and officers in a private placement, meaning it wasn't offered to the general public. The company raised about $798,297 from this sale. Because this wasn't a public offering, the company relied on exemptions from registration requirements under securities laws. Now let's move to the press releases. The first press release, dated February 28, 2025, talks about the debenture amendments we already discussed and the private placement of stock to company insiders. This was done at the same time as a previously announced public offering of common shares. The second press release from March 5, 2025 reveals the results of a preliminary economic assessment, a first study on a project's economics, for the Granite Creek Underground project in Nevada. The third press release, issued March 6, 2025, is about another preliminary economic assessment, but this time for the Granite Creek Open Pit project, also in Nevada. And lastly, the company issued an Investor Day presentation that investors can find on its website. That's it for the filing itself. Now, what does all this mean? From my perspective, i-80 Gold is making some strategic moves to manage its debt and fund its operations. The changes to the debentures give the company more flexibility. The ability to redeem the debentures at a premium could be a good option if they have the cash and believe it will benefit them in the long run. The stock sale to insiders shows that those running the company have some skin in the game, which can be seen as a positive signal. However, there are also risks. The fact that they needed to amend the debentures in the first place suggests they might be facing some financial pressures. Relying on exemptions for the stock sale means they can't raise money from the general public at that time, which could limit their options. Overall, i-80 Gold seems to be navigating a complex situation. The preliminary economic assessments for their Granite Creek projects are promising, but it remains to be seen whether they can successfully execute their plans and deliver value to shareholders. Keep in mind the assessments are preliminary at this stage and still needs much more investigation to become true. Thanks for tuning in to Corporate Decoder. If you found this breakdown helpful, give us a like, drop a comment, and definitely subscribe for more deep dives into the world of corporate filings. Let me know in the comments what company you'd like me to decode next.